Well, rise ye tarnished, and welcome back to a new custom card video. This time I'm going to be looking at some homemade custom cards for Elden Ring. So basically for this video, I'll just go over some custom cards that I made for Elden Ring. And basically I'll give some kind of like inspiration as to why the cards are designed in the way they are designed. Obviously this is not supposed to be like a super serious video, so don't bother like critiquing these cards, or at least try not to. It's basically supposed to be like a casual thing. So, if you do enjoy the video, then let me know down below, I guess. And without further ado, let's begin. So I went for Chapel of Anticipation and Grafted Scion as the first cards that I made. Chapel of Anticipation allows you to search your deck for basic Pokemon without a Roblox and put it onto your bench, which is actually the exact same wording as Town, I believe. But it also has the additional effect that if your opponent has 3 or fewer prize cards remaining, you may search your deck for up to 2 Pokemon instead. So it's a little bit better than Town, and it's basically supposed to reflect the fact that Chapel Anticipation is the first place that you go to, so it's decent that it would have, it stands to belief that you would have synergy in the early game, but you can also visit this location in the mid to late game, I believe, after you reach the 4 Belfries, so being able to do that just kind of made sense to have this additional effect on it. As for Grafted Scion, 140 HP, pretty tanky. It is like the very first boss that you do encounter in the game, unless you really want to count Soldier of Godric, I believe. But it does have the ability Golden Tempering, which is the name of the ability slash attack that it has in the game, I believe. Either Golden Tempering is an attack or like an effect that it has, but essentially when its HP is lower, it gets an attack boost, so it seemed like the perfect opportunity to include an ability where it has 70 HP or less remaining. Its attacks do plus 30 damage. Then the attack, Leaping Stab, just because, this creature typically leaps forward and stabs you, so just kind of made the most sense. So as for the Vs, I went for Tree Sentinel and Rani as some initial ones. I gave Tree Sentinel an ability and 2 attacks just because I kind of miss Pokemon cards having 3 or 4 attacks each, to be honest. I think it's a big shame that they kind of moved away from that. But honestly, giving it 260 HP and an ability that says it takes 30 less damage from Pokemon with Special Energy or spells equipped, it's probably a bit overkill, to be honest. Tree Sentinel maybe should not have that much HP, even though it is a boss. But yeah, pretty solid ability, very solid HP. Also has the attack Charging Attack, which does 120 for 3 colors, and you get to attach up to 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to your bench Pokemon in any way you like. So a decent charge up of power, because I just felt that Tree Sentinel teaches you a lot in the early game, so it's kind of like scuffed my logic with coming up with these card attacks and like what they do, but Charging Attack just kind of made sense for Tree Sentinel. It's like hard to describe. It made sense in my head, but obviously explaining it out loud, it sounds like more ridiculous and stuff. So you have to bear with me on that. Also, Rearing Slam does 150 and then 10 damage up to 3 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So decent spread damage. So even if you're not like in the immediate vicinity of being hit by the Golden Halberd, there is still at least some damage that goes just beyond that. It's like a wide hitbox or whatever. But if we look at Rani V, 170 HP, so this card is definitely inspired by Tapu Lele. Has the ability Stars Foretold, says once in your turn when you put Rani from your hand onto your bench, you may search your deck for a supporter card and put it into your hand. To be honest, it just made sense that Rani would have a chase card, to be honest. Like, she's just such a big figure and so iconic in the game at this point, so Stars Foretold and Gathering Strength, pretty solid card, to be honest. Gathering Strength has the effect of being able to search your deck for up to 3 Pokemon with Rani Follower in the name and put them onto your bench. Also, something I probably should have pointed out at the start of the video, if you're wondering why all the terminology is still like Pokemon stuff, it's just to keep it simple and generalize everything, because I wasn't sure where to go with Pokemon or creatures. And to be honest, Pokemon just kind of made a wee bit more sense, even though creatures maybe would have been better. But I just went with Pokemon in the end, just to kind of like generalize all the cards together. But yeah, Gathering Strength, allowing you to search your deck for Rani followers. Then the ability, of course, is super powerful with Stars Foretold. So as for some more cards, I went for Starting Class Prisoner. So the reason why it has a subname of Starter Class is because I intended to do Stage 1s and Stage 2s at some point, which would effectively be different levels of that character class. So for example, like a level 20 Prisoner would be a Stage 1, and then, like a level 50 Prisoner or something would be Stage 2, and it would basically be like a Dex Sorcery build, if that makes sense, so Dex Intelligence build. But I haven't got around to doing that yet, and I'm just stuck with basics. So we have Prisoner, 60 HP, has the ability Iron Mask if his Pokemon would be damaged for 50 or less. Flip a coin if heads, prevent that damage. Pretty decent. Then it has 1 attack, S-Stalk Lunge, flip 4 coins, and for each heads, attack does 10 damage. So, pretty decent card overall. It is supposed to be an evolving basic, so that's why it's fairly weak at the start of the game. Then we have Very's Guidance, which is, I think, the first NPC that you meet in the game. Has the effect search your deck for a stadium card and a basic energy, reveal them, and put them into your hand. So, pretty solid effect. Why I went with Stadium Search and Energy Search specifically is because in the main game, Varys does actually point you towards Stormvale Castle, so I thought that was kind of like a neat reference, I guess. Searching for basic energy also just kind of implies that he's pushing you on the quest, I guess. It's kind of a bit scuffed again, but still, I just thought it was cool to have a bit of a theme in relation to Varys. Also, calling it Varys Guidance and not just Varys also means that, there could be a Very card at some point down the line. Probably butchering these name pronunciations, but we'll just move on. Then we have Lake of Rot and Patches. We'll probably start with Patches over here because it is a bit of a strange card. It has the attack Escape that does 10 damage and switch Patches with one of your bench Pokemon. You will notice, of course, though, that Patches has free retreat. So having a switch effect in the attack makes no sense whatsoever, but still, it exists. We also have Raid for 2 colors. Flip 2 coins for each head, search your deck for a card and put it into your hand. Initially, I think Raid should have been like at least initially I thought Raid could have been like a disruption effect, maybe even Mill, because Patches is such like a thorn in your side throughout the whole game, and throughout most of the Souls games actually. But, Raid being able to search for more cards is pretty decent, so Patches might help you in some way. Then we have Lake of Rot, which is probably the easiest card to design because honestly, Lake of Rot just kind of writes itself at that point. Pokemon afflicted by Rot take an additional Rot counter between turns. So Rot is essentially like a worse version of Poison in the world of Elden Ring. There is Poison in Elden Ring, but I wanted to save that for plans and stuff if I ever did them, so Rot is like this more advanced state of Poison, so it's a lot more dangerous basically. But yeah, thank you for watching. Bit of a brief video, but let me know what you think of custom cards down below. And yeah, it's been Emma Power. Thank you for watching.